Now at this point in the deployment, we've deployed our management node, a web node, a background node, a TCP relay, and a log relay. But as mentioned before, we do need to set this to an active deployment. Now before we do that, there's a couple of other PowerShell scripts that I'm going to go over with you so that you can get a good idea as to where you stand as it relates to maintaining hyper-scalable paths. Now we're not going to go through all of these, but there's just a couple of them that we want to take a look at. The first is to get the deployment. Let's see if we actually do have an active deployment. So in order to do that, we're going to use the get deployment PowerShell script. So centrify -paths -get deployment. Now I don't have to add a command line parameter. I will be prompted if necessary. And as you can see here, there are no current active deployments found. Even though we've deployed all of these nodes, we don't have one at this point. But let's take a look at a node list to see what is out there. So that is centrify -paths -node list. As you can see here, it does display all of the nodes that we have deployed, but you'll also notice that they are currently inactive. So let's go ahead and set the active deployment. So centrify -paths -set active deployment. And as you can see, we are prompted for a host name. And remember that our host name is going to be our vault URL. Now the vault URL is most likely going to be applied at your layer 4 load balancer, especially in cases where you have multiple web nodes and background nodes deployed. Now in this particular demonstration, we used the fully qualified domain name of the only web node that we deployed. So that's what we're going to do here. So hspos-web.hspos.net. Now it's going to prompt us for the deployment ID. So this is based on the new deployment that we created very early on in this deployment process. So this is simply going to be Omicron HQ. And as you can see, we've returned to our prompt without error. Let's go ahead and rerun those other two PowerShell scripts, starting with the get deployment. And now as you can see, it does return the active deployment. Let's now take a look at our node list. And now as you can see, our node list indicates that we have our web node online and active. And the same is true with our background role or background node. And now we should be able to launch our browser and proceed over to our fully qualified domain name or our vault URL. In this case, hspos-web.hspos.net. And now as you can see, we're prompted for a login. Let's go ahead and use that login that we created at the time we created the new installation, which was admin, and our password. And now as you can see, we've received our welcome screen. We are into the identity platform, and we are up and running. Now this completes this demonstration on installing hyper-scalable paths in a distributed or enterprise level implementation.